Experience Karen Hunter
in a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me in Karen Hunter is Awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power, a 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
And it's a tough job market out there right now. And so
I was going to we were coming in on the stock market crashing. We are in probably an era of hyperinflation that's coming. More tariffs announced yesterday. The Dow dropped 1,300 points, it feels like a free fall. Usually they try to shut the Dow, they shut the stock market down when it drops 1,000 points. They just let it fall. The S&P 500 lost 4% amid this tariff debacle. Apple lost $250 billion in market value. Apple. Hey, Tim Cook, you gave $1 million to Trump's inauguration. Did you get what you paid for? Is this what you were looking for?
But how's that working out for you?
Hi, Tesla down another 5% today, down to $268 from a $488 high in the last 52 weeks. Meta down today as well. Everything's down. Well, not everything. Telecom is up. I was looking at my American Express is down like horribly. I'm like, what is happening? Some stuff is happening, but there's some good stuff.
It's indicators that what people are thinking about retail and what's going to happen with retail, right? Like people who have a little bit of money are going to be holding on to it really, really tight. If you look across retail is really, really sort of girding its loins in terms of like what the market will bear. Usually you can depend on the tech stocks to do really, really well. But I think that, even tech companies are looking at, Apple has more money, more cash than the United States government. And their stock is tanking, right? Like, so you look across the bow and, it's serious. I mean, I think there are a lot of people, the biggest hoodwink that I feel like the Republican Party has ever played on Americans is that they were able to convince middle-class people that they were the working wealthy and to convince poor people that they were middle class, right? And so that got all of these people out here voting against their interests. So you got all these middle-class people who voted red in this most recent election. And what they are seeing is that their retirements, their 401ks, all of their investments are tanking. And it's basically, Karen, I learn something every time that I listen to the Karen Hunter Show, and I learn even more on the days that I'm actually on the Karen Hunter Show. And I made a significant amount of money 1 year because of something one of your guests said. I don't know if I told you this or not, but the guy who had him on, he said everybody needs to save to stock away some what he called blood in the water money, right? And he explained that to say that there are going to be certain stocks and securities that you will see tank due to something that happens in the market, something that happens in the geopolitical arena, something that happens, regulatory, and those stocks will likely go back up. It may take a year, it may take 4 years, but that's your blood in the water money. When you smell blood in the water, you invest in those stocks while they're technically on sale. And I did that. I saved a good amount of money for me, right? And I purchased Meta when the whistleblower happened. I worked at Facebook when the advertising industry boycotted Facebook, and they boycotted Facebook for it was roughly about 6 months, and the company made more money during the boycott than they made the exact same time the previous year. So the boycott did not affect Facebook. I say this to people all the time as a crisis manager. For most companies, your customers, if you're talking about business to business, I'm not talking about me and you deciding that we're not going to shop at places where we can't work, right? Because we've seen what happened with Target.
I was just going to bring them up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for companies like a tech company, like a Facebook,
Amazon,
Facebook,
yes.
companies that really are selling to businesses. If you're selling to businesses, your customers who are other businesses, they can't tank you. The government doesn't really understand what you do. I also was at Facebook when they asked Zuck on Capitol Hill questions about Apple and why my iPhone doesn't do stuff. And he was like, I work at Facebook. And when a sitting United States senator was like, how do y'all make money? And he was like, Senator, we sell ads, right? Like, so the regulatory environment can't kill a Facebook. The only people who really understand what some of these companies do, the big tech companies, are the employees. And when that whistleblower blew the whistle on Facebook, the stock tanked. And I bought a bunch of it, right? And I held it for like 2 years. And then, I talked about like how, I paid cash for my wedding, day of, never put a single thing on my credit card because of my blood in the water money, right?
That's right.
And so what I think the lesson from that is, one, listen to the Karen Hunter show because there's food for you on that. Come and get some of it, right? But also that it's not these middle class people who it's not the millionaire next door because they still got to work for that money. Most of that money is tied up in their house or tied up in the stock market, right? It's the billionaires who are going to buy all of these stocks while they're technically on sale.
That's right, because they know it's a waiting game. Oh my God, I'm so glad you don't know this. You do know it now. Terry Egioma's coming in to talk about DEI, which is ironic, right? Because here you go. But I'm sitting here now. This is not like last time. Terry was doing this thing on, the last time Trump was office. This is what, I'm going to. No, this is not that time. And what Drew was saying about blood in the water, I look at a Target. Target ain't coming back. I don't think Target's. I think the 8 weeks in a row down, stock is almost at a 52-week low. We are not going back. You will not see us back. I feel like it's done, right? But you're right. Amazon down, but not out because Amazon servers. Amazon's everywhere. They're ubiquitous. It's very hard to your point, to tank them. But the Macy's and the other, some of the stores, and I'm sorry, Macy's, I don't know what your politics are, but Target and Walmart may have some interesting thing, but Walmart has also diversified its portfolio so that it's in many different places as well. But this is a time where I'm going to talk to Terry about this, but I'm looking to do what you did. And so I'm doing CD ladders right now, so I can get at least a 4% return while the chaos rages. But also I'm keeping an eye on certain companies. So today I looked at American Express, a stock that I was really loving, completely down today, but it's still not as low as it was when I first bought it. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I also got rid of a stock that I know is not coming back. They're probably going to dump their dividends because this tariff thing is going to impact them. And even if the tariff thing is over, that company is going to have a hard time coming back. So I was like, I'm anticipating, let me take some cash off the table with that. Boom. But but you can only make those moves if you've been making these moves. This is a you got to stay ready. You can't just get ready. You got to stay ready. So you don't got to get ready. You got to always be ready. So this is why, we're back on this drumbeat of save your money, save your money, save your money. But, at the same time, let's support the companies that are supporting us. We're going to talk about Slutty Vegan today as well. There are layoffs across the United States. They surged 205%. I remember, because I'm on the air every day, talking about each month the Biden administration adding new jobs to the marketplace. There were record numbers of jobs added during Biden's 4 years. Today, 205% down in job creation. that is crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And here's the other thing too that I think is even wilder about that is, while the racial wealth gap still is huge, it closed more under Biden than it did under any American president in our lifetime. So Black Americans did more to close the racial wealth gap during those 4 years than they had in my lifetime, right? And so I think that politics. Everybody is involved in politics, whether they vote or not. And I think that
that's right.
What's crazy about it is that they didn't have enough people who really understood the right narrative, right? There were not enough people and I think that a lot of people who were in positions of power to talk about these things, they absolutely lost the narrative that that we could have won on, right? And the jobs situation, like, I don't think that anybody could have anticipated.
I was going to say that wasn't going to be, look, they were talking about egg prices and gas prices. Yeah. I don't think there was a narrative, Drew, that could have convinced people to show up for themselves. Yeah. We were literally reading out of Project 2025. I gave up because I'm like, it's not resonating with people because you don't know a thing can be painful until you feel the pain.
Experience Karen Hunter
in a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.